guys, one of the other things that Weston A. Price likes to always talk about is, oh, well, they say that since meat consumption has gone up, and what is it? Oh, okay, here, I'll read you the exact quote. This is on the main tour page, Weston A. Price Principles of Healthy Eating. It says, during the period of rapid increase in heart disease, 1926 to 1960, the American consumption of animal fats has actually declined, but consumption of hydrogenated and industrially processed vegetable fats increased. This is on their page. They gave for, it said USDA HNIS. So that's what they say. Is this the truth? If you take the time to actually look into what they said, they can't even get basic statistics right, such as this. Multi-million-dollar company, non-profit organization, yeah, right. They can't even get this right. You think that's an honest accident that they're telling you that meat eating has gone down? Has meat eating gone down between 1920 and 1960, like Weston A. Price tells us? Because if that's gone down and animal and heart disease and everything has gone up, yeah, they may have a point, but no, it's not true. If you actually go to the USDA census that they list, apparently this is why Weston A. Price doesn't post their links, okay? And this is why I know that they're liars and not just confused, because they're sitting here telling me that their source was USDA for this. And I'm looking USDA and it tells me something completely different. See that chart right there? This is 1900s, there's 1920. So between 1920 and 1940, look, you had a slight decrease of about 20 pounds. That's it. Down. It went down. And then guess what? It goes straight back up. So 1960s right here. So as you can see, it's going from about 100 pounds over here to, we're all the way up to 140. So as you can see, that is not a decline as Weston A. Price wants you to believe. I guess that's what happens when you eat a lot of meat. I think it clogs up your brain, and I can definitely feel it. Once I stopped eating so much fat in general, I can feel the effects of a lot of fat in my blood. I can feel it in my stomach, I can feel it in my brain, and I feel foggy. And maybe this is what's happening. Maybe I'm being too hard on them. Maybe they just really honestly don't know how to read a chart. Somehow I find that a little hard to believe, but whatever. So they tell you it's declined and that it's just the hydrogenated vegetable oils that is increased. But like I said, that part of the argument is very, very false. And also, if you go look and compare the trans fats that are actually in these hydrogenated vegetable oils and you compare them to the trans fats that are in, did you even know that beef, including grass-fed beef, has trans fats? Well, guess what? It has way more trans fats than this oil they're telling you not to consume. They, of course, try to tell you that, oh, the studies are completely conclusive, and they all tell us that it's completely safe. It's a completely different type of trans fat, people. I mean, it's natural. It's got to be good for you, right? Let me tell you, I've looked at those studies. They are basically non-existent, and they say the ones that do try to say something are saying, look, this is inconclusive. There is no straight-up answer about these trans fats. And Weston A. Price and other paleo people will have you believe that it's just clear cut. It's crazy. I have other sources. Again, here is another different chart. We have this is 1993. Okay, so this is a little bit different. But you can definitely see that everything's going up. And, you know, yes, heart disease is going up, but it's definitely going up with meat consumption here. I mean, it's very, very clear to see. I'm not sure what kind of a view you can get here, but sorry, I guess that's probably not going to work if I do that. you can see the charts for yourself here. And if you're not, I mean, these are just basic USDA, CHD. This is the one with the mortality. And I mean, you can see these are all, it's all heart disease, CHD, and all heart disease except for CHD. And I mean, you can see heart disease is definitely going up, just like meat consumption still is. So, and the other thing you can do is look at the parts of the country. I found this is easier than going around the world, because around the world, when you look and you start trying to look, like there's places in India where there is high beef consumption. There's, parts of the world that, are just very drastically different from each other. And especially when you look at different factors such as like industrialization, you are sort of realizing that, there's a lot of other factors at play. But when you do look at, like, let's say you take a look at percentage of adults who are obese. We have mostly, south, east. We have adults with heart disease here. Most of these are all heart disease, and they're all meat eaten. So we have, Texas, these areas down here, Georgia is, again, southeast. And then up into, like, Illinois and all the way over here. Not quite all the way to the East Coast, but, you definitely got a higher concentration here of heart disease and meat eaters. I mean, this is pretty much proof in my book. I mean, there's not a whole lot of other factors I think that you have going around. And not only that, but then you get over here too, look, heart disease, meat. Like, there's little areas, and it shows. So, oh, this is one of the ones I was wanting to get to. This is kind of a hodgepodge video, but kind of wrapping up a little bit of my research here. But basically, I'm talking about, let's see, who is this? It was a great review of a wobbling book. What is this? The Vegan RD, okay, makes a point about the fact that humans now eat food, grains that our Paleolithic ancestors rarely ate. But she never discusses the fact that dairy, a food she heartily endorses, falls into the same category. Okay, so if it's not traditional to eat grains, then it's not traditional to eat dairy, because humans have only been doing it for so long and it wasn't happening in the Paleolithic times. So according to their own standards, what you should not be drinking raw milk or any kind of milk for that category. So, grains could be found on the ground, consumed by our ancestors. Dairy is 100% dependent on agriculture. So the fact that normal human development around the world, has decreased ability to digest dairy foods, it's a major clue. It really, really is. There's so many clues that if you use your critical thinking and you go and do your own thinking and your own research, you can find it. But if you're just going to use Weston A. Price's website as a final source, you're going to be in trouble. Okay? You go to Veg Source, you can talk about how Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon. I used to own this book, actually. Not a lot of tasty recipes in it, let me just say. Basically, there's over 200 references. Many of them are antiquated. This is from Veg Source, with poor observations for the most part, and this is exactly what they do on their website as well. The authors reference their own articles and those of Weston A. Price, other Weston A. Price Foundation authors. So again, they're like, here, read this book by Kylie Daniels. It's all about soy. Guess what? She's on her publishing company. Oh, but we're not for profit. Yeah, you are. So basically, it says here that only 14 of the references are from peer-reviewed journals published in the last 10 years. And for the most of the 14, the authors misrepresent what was stated in the articles. So just because you have a big, thick book, just because you have a book all about soy, and you happens to go with what you believe, and I'm not even sticking up for soy. I'm not a huge soy eater. My kids have loved it. They're absolutely healthy, and they ate it a lot as babies. So I tend to think that you're okay unless you're eating a lot of it, and you're leaving out other foods. But if you're eating a variety, I'm pretty sure it's okay. So anyways, she says, by contrast, Eat to Live book from VegSource contains over 1,000 medical references to peer-reviewed medical journals. Woo! Spam. So it's kind of crazy. Over 1,000 medical references by peer-reviewed journals. And again, peer-reviewed, this means you can go and replicate all of these studies. So pretty crazy. You guys have also heard of the guy, Stephen Bryant, who died of a stroke at the age of 45. Mercola is their guru now, but only because Steve Byrnes, he died at 45 at the age of a stroke. And there's a lot of people on there trying to say, oh, well, like all this crazy stuff, making excuses, but wow, that's really early. So, also just a little note about Mercola. He's been saying that, pasteurized milk, this is the type of people that you're dealing with that get involved with Weston A. Price. They don't really care what they're saying. They're just trying to make money. The FDA has had to talk to Mercola about him making fraudulent health claims about coconut oil and also chlorella. So if the FDA is telling somebody they can't say something, like, I know they do that a lot. I know that they say supplements don't work and blah, 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 and all of that, but still, let's just look at colon cancer. Study about colon cancer. They say even 2 or 3 ounces of red meat a day increases this significantly. Okay? Significantly. 2 or 3 ounces. How many of you guys know people who have a 2 or 3 ounce steak? Nobody. Nobody has a 2 or 3 ounce steak. Wow. So 2 other studies identify the mechanism by which red meat promotes colon cancer. Has no fiber. Remains in the gut much longer than fiber-filled foods. Okay, slower transit. There's heightened exposure to the nitrogens and metabolites. So basically, that means prolonged exposure to carcinogens like N-nitroso compounds. So when your diet is more of these products, you're going to have a lot of problems. You're going to have cell-killing activity, cytolytic activity, and colonic epithelial proliferation, explaining why so they even know why red meat is more cancer causing than fish or chicken. And do they talk about this on Weston A. Price? No, they don't. So another thing, going back to traditionals, do primitives really live longer? No. Like I said before, Weston A. Price just went around, look at them, they have nice teeth because they don't eat sugar, and, they look pretty strong because they work out all day, so they must just be in great health. Well, for example, Inuit Greenlanders, they have had access to fruits and vegetables. They've had limited access to fruits and vegetables. They actually have the worst longevity statistics in America. Did Weston A. Price know this? No, because he wasn't checking out the elderly. He wasn't actually seeing how long they live, or how really truly healthy they were with any real scientific methods. All he was doing was saying, look, they do more exercise, they're healthy, and their teeth are better. Like, that's all he did. It's crazy. It's just crazy. This is 2014. Like, people, wake up. So, yeah, they have the worst longevity statistics, okay? They die an average of 10 years younger and have higher rate of cancer than the overall Canadian population. Okay? These are, it's hard to say, but ask me if you want the link. I'll give it to you. I have it very easily accessible here. Also, similar statistics. Maasai in Kenya, they eat a diet high in wild hunted meats and have the worst life expectancy in the modern world. Life expectancy is only 45 years for women and 42 years for men. So, I don't know where Weston A. Price was traveling to or whatever, but apparently he skipped over this particular meat-eating country, and the adult mortality figures show that they have a 50% chance of dying before the age of 59.2. So not very good statistics if you really want to, and that's the thing is you can't reproduce these same studies. You can't reproduce the effects of the meat. You can reproduce the effects of the sugar and everything on the teeth and that part of the study, but everything else that he's claiming and that he's concluded from these, from this decade of traveling the world is just false. There's no correlation. Causation is not correlation, people. You know this. Like, come on. So we now know, across the board that it's pretty clear increasing the consumption of vegetables, legumes, fruits, nuts, raw seeds, etc., decreasing animal products is actually what is, going to give you a longer life and a better life. And it's funny because Weston A. Price says, well, there's these studies are just crazy and they're unrepeatable and you can't, and like, we've already caught them in like 3 or 4 lies here. Are you just going to continue listening to them at the cost of your entire family's health? It's just really crazy to me. They do have, some positive information, but that's how they get you to believe the rest of it. So lots of, like I said, if you really look, you'll see these people weren't healthy. These Inuits, these pre-contact, American times, it's not what you think. There are a lot of other factors going around. And, gosh, they were even making crazy claims. Him and Pottinger, they were saying, that they could have improved mental retardation and Down syndrome, and that all this stuff that's not true. Like, they had a lot of information that was not true. So why would you just assume that they knew what they were talking about? I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. So I think I'm actually like wrapping up the entire... Oh gosh, yeah, 17 minutes. I better wrap this one up. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you saw this, eat your fruit.